At the end of the day, when you look at what the Bears are going to do next year, if you can get just competent quarterbacking, not even saying above average, Mike. I'm not saying you need Nick Foles to be, Super Bowl MVP Nick Foles or 27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions Nick Foles. I'm talking about basic competency. Their defense was still good last year. Their defense struggled because they had no support. They lost a game where the Packers scored, I think, 10 points that opening night. They lost a game when the Chargers scored 17 points. They lost a game when the Rams scored 17 points. They lost games that statistically you should win in the NFL when your defense performs that way. And we've seen it a million times. You have 3 or 4 games that could go either way, and you can flip those and you get a little bit of luck. And that's really what it comes down to when you look at, all these teams and trying to predict each season. There are teams that will be there, and there are teams that are good. But for the rest of the league, outside of the top 5 or 6 teams, for the rest of the league, it really does simply come down to a couple lucky bounces here and there that can change your season from 6-10 to 10-6 or 7-9 to 9-7 and get you in the playoffs.
Let me ask you this. Last year,
that was such a great spin zone. That felt so good. Oh, everyone's got a chance.
Do you place the offensive blame on Mitchell Trubisky's inability to perform, or do you put it on Coach Matt Nagy's reluctance to transform the offense to suit the skills and abilities of Mitchell Trubisky? Because it feels like Nagy has always been trying to jam the square peg into the round hole, wanting the guy who can run his offense, not changing his offense so it matches and meshes with the skills of Trubisky. Who do you put the blame on for last year?
I think it's equal. I mean, it has to be frustrating from Matt Nagy's perspective to be coaching someone like Mitch Trubisky who's not able to, perform what they're trying to install during the week. But at the same time, the great coaches in the NFL adapt, and they adapt to their skill sets, and they play to their team's strengths, and they make sure that they get the most out of their quarterback. And I do think, watching the Bears, if you've watched Mitch Trubisky in the NFL, it's pretty obvious that he has some athleticism, and when you can run tempo and eliminate the amount of decisions he has to make when it's one read or run. When it's 2-minute offense, that's where he succeeds. And I think that the Bears not being able to do that definitely falls on Matt Nagy.
I need to make one more observation about the Bears. This is something I said earlier in the week, and I want to know if you agree with me on this. It's both a compliment to the organization and, in a roundabout way, an insult. We were at Soldier Field for the game to start the season. I'd never been to Soldier Field before. I'd never been to Chicago before. Soldier Field is an impressive venue.
Oh, it's beautiful.
The fan base in Chicago is impressive. The city is first class. I feel like the Bears should be 12-4 every year when you factor in what's around the organization. Why aren't they better when you have such a great football city, such great fans, so much aura and history and everything that goes along with it? Where's the disconnect?
The disconnect is the ownership. And it's the simple fact in the NFL, there are a handful of owners that their goal every single year is to win the Super Bowl. And they want to be competitive and they want to win a Super Bowl. They will do anything they can to win a Super Bowl. The rest of the owners in the NFL are pretty darn happy cashing enormous checks and every few years maybe catching lightning in a bottle and getting to the playoffs. The McCaskies fall in the ladder. And it just is what it is. You know what I mean? This is the reality of being an NFL fan. You have to figure out pretty quickly, and we can go down the list. There are owners that are adamant that they're going to spend every dollar and use every resource to try to win the Super Bowl every single year. And a lot of owners that just are happy to be there. And it is, you just have to accept that, right? Like, you just have to accept that because that's the reality of the situation. And guess what? There are more owners that fall into the latter that are just happy to cash that check, be competitive every few years, do, every now and then make the playoffs and hopefully catch lightning in a bottle. Then there are owners that will do everything they can in their power to try to hire the smartest people, the best facilities, all that stuff to win a Super Bowl.
Well, it's a special football town, and I enjoyed being there, and I look forward to going back someday. And I look forward to the day that there's a true franchise quarterback year in and year out for the Bears. It's been a while. One win this year, Trevor Lawrence next year, and then he'll be a bust, and then it'll be somebody else at some point down the road.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.